Courage goes to work, how to build backbones, boost performance, and get results. By Bill Treasurer. Key points. Far too many employees cling to comfort and fear change. They're comfortable. However, clinging to comfort and safety impedes their career growth. Help fearful employees find 3 forms of courage. People with try courage attempt new things. Managers and employees with trust courage rely on each other. Employees with tell courage speak their minds. To help your employees become courageous, follow the 4 steps of the Courage Foundation model. They are: jump first by being a model, create safety, harness fear, and modulate comfort. When you modulate comfort, you help people deal with discomfort, which itself will make them want to change and grow. When you practice management by jumping first (MBJF), you work from the front to draw people to follow you instead of pushing them from behind. Using safe frameworks to build employees' confidence is more effective than trying to reduce their fears. Summary. Comfort and fear. Too many employees live in fear, tucked away in their comfort zones. The alternative is working in a discomfort zone, the idea of which paralyzes them, although discomfort impels growth. Employees can't develop professionally or otherwise if they stay locked in their comfort zones. As IBM CEO Ginni Rometty explains, growth and comfort don't coexist. Focusing on comfort and safety impedes career progress. Fear is an invitation to experience your own courage. Fearful employees are sadly commonplace. They do as little as possible, work with no sense of urgency, flee from challenges and avoid responsibility. They find an excess of comfort in relying on old methods or are too afraid to do things differently. 2 dynamics run their lives: comfort and fear. These comfortable employees embrace safety and sameness. Because fear dominates their lives, these employees set timid goals, share only safe thoughts, and make risk-free choices. Their motto is, stay safe at all costs. When they do, your company pays the price. Step into the breach. Managers must address the challenge of getting apprehensive employees to overcome their fears and shift out of their comfort zones. Employees need help discovering their courage, a trait Aristotle called the first virtue, which makes all other virtues possible. People won't start being courageous just because you tell them to. You've got to create an environment that encourages them to extend themselves and take chances. When fearful employees find their courage, your organization realizes substantial benefits. They re-engage with passion, motivation, and commitment. But teaching everyday courage is a major undertaking. Your employees won't become courageous just because you ask them. Helping fearful employees find their backbones becomes a prime managerial responsibility. Managers must do all they can to correct cowardly attitudes for the sake of their own work, their employees, and the health of their organization. New tools. To help employees find courage, managers need new techniques, tools, strategies, and approaches. You can show your employees how to build up their courage by setting high personal and professional standards. To get people to face their fears, managers must invest time, energy, and insight in encouraging their workers. Try to become an encourager by aiming to put courage inside people. If you discourage people, they will become only more fearful. Many workers need their managers to teach them their own worth. With that, anyone can learn to be courageous, yet, in the final analysis, courage is an attribute that people must activate within themselves. The 3 buckets of courage. Employees need to learn 3 kinds of bravery. Try courage. This is the courage of initiative and action that motivates people to overcome inertia and attempt new challenges. People with try courage stretch their skills and take risks. To instill it, foster an entrepreneurial spirit among your employees. Teach them that playing it safe can be every bit as perilous as taking action. The extended level of bravery is try courage, the impetus for acts of conscious fearlessness and persistence. Trust courage, this courage calls for willingness to rely on others and to give others the benefit of the doubt. Fearful people mistrust, courageous people expect good things of their coworkers. Managers must connect to their own trust courage in order to place their trust in their employees. Trust courage depends on honesty tempered by courtesy and respect. The more vulnerability you exhibit as a manager, the more trust you can create. The more dread you engender, the less your employees will trust you. Tell courage, this form of courage calls for speaking candidly. People with tell courage are never afraid to give others, including their bosses, honest opinions and unfettered feedback. Managers who try to intimidate employees into silence inspire only negative consequences. Trying to bottle people up never works. Inevitably, the lid blows and a high noon moment, a verbal showdown, occurs when managers suddenly must deal with all sorts of surprise problems they didn't know existed. To encourage your employees to speak up, ask them in private meetings to tell you what they really feel. Share your true feelings in return, and never punish anyone for what they share in private. The 5 Promises of Workforce Courage. Conceptualizing courage in the try, trust and tell framework helps your employees understand what courage requires. Encouraging managers commit to 5 premises or promises of workforce courage. Anyone can be courageous. Courageous employees are more productive than fearful employees. Courage is both learnable and teachable. Prepare for challenges by developing and practicing a regimen of strategies. Your entire staff benefits when everyone becomes more courageous. The Courage Foundation Model. Employees need the proper environment, mental, social, emotional and psychological, for courage to flourish. Without a supportive environment, they can't set aside their fears, step out of their comfort zones and begin to take risks. To develop a supportive environment, take 4 specific steps in this order. Jump first. Acting courageously is like taking a big leap into the dark. Your employees will never make such frightening leaps if you haven't first built a safety net under them. You can't expect your employees to act courageously if you consistently show fear and timidity. When you act as a role model for courage by jumping into a challenging situation first, you inspire your staff members to exhibit their own bravery. As a manager, you need the proper disposition, be a filler, not a spiller. Filler managers' buckets contain courage they can share to fill their employees' buckets, too. Spiller managers' buckets contain fear and drain their employees' buckets of courage, making employee courage spill away. Create safety. For your employees to be bold, they need a sense of security. Safety nets mitigate the possible negative consequences of fearless actions and give people permission to be courageous. You can't expect employees to be courageous if they fear professional disaster as a consequence. Harness fear. Fear is powerful, it makes people risk-averse. When you harness the energy wrapped up in fear, and put fear to work, you help your workers bravely face whatever frightens them. With the proper framework, you can transform the fear that undermines them into readiness to act fearlessly. Modulate comfort. This means helping your employees become more comfortable with discomfort. But employees also must gradually learn to manage a little discomfort, then a little more, and so on until they readily embrace challenges. As with any new skill, start them with baby steps but stretch their capacity. Keep a basic truth about the comfort-discomfort nexus in mind. Eventually, comfort can become very uncomfortable. When discomfort sets in, your employees will want to change, and that's the moment when their growth begins. Leverage the dynamic by challenging your employees with new tasks that move them into a zone of discomfort and spur their creativity. Management by jumping first. As a leader, you can either push from behind or attract from the front. There's nothing inspirational about the former, which relies on do as I say not as I do leadership. With this stance, you stay far removed from the battle lines while issuing orders to your employees to do all the hard work and make all the sacrifices. Courageous managers are sorely needed in the workplace. But becoming one means committing yourself to living courageously, despite the constant pressures that comfort and fear present. You can't lead from the rear. To lead, you must get out in front. When you manage from the front, you roll up your sleeves and get to work leading and motivating your staff to be their best and most fearless. The word led implies that you are ahead of the troops and that they are following you. Management by jumping first (MBJF) helps comfortable workers to do uncomfortable things. MBJF sets an attitudinal and behavioral tone that inspires employees and helps them put their fears to rest. Protective frames. If you give your employees the right frameworks, they can transform the fear that undermines them into readiness to act fearlessly. Psychologist Michael J. Apter developed the protective frame concept. Metaphorically, it is like a cage you can build around your fear so as to contain it. Think of the mental process as caging the tiger. Adding protective frames build people's courage and confidence. Employees might construct strong cages around their fears by securing as much information as possible about what they fear, doing practice sessions to manage the source of fear, or by meeting with a coach. Trust is always a risk. But not trusting is far more dangerous. When trust is lacking, distrust fills the void and suspicion reigns supreme. With the right protective frames, employees can turn fear into fun. The transformation works because, neurologically, intense feelings of fear and intense feelings of excitement resemble one another. When you are afraid, your heart races, your breath gets short and your stomach teems with butterflies. These are the same physiological responses you experience when you're excited, except that fear is experienced as displeasure and excitement is experienced as pleasure. Apter's groundbreaking research explains why building up employees' confidence will be far more productive than trying to reduce employees' fears. Building up means helping workers become exceedingly well prepared and rehearsed. Too much courage? Managers must encourage their employees and bolster their courage, but should be aware of a possible backlash that could manifest in several attendant issues. Be careful what you wish for. You want to manage courageous employees, not cowards, but be aware that when your employees find their courage, it will extend in all directions, including right back at you. They may, and probably will, tell you exactly what they think of you as a manager and what they think of your ideas. Brace yourself. You'll need more than courage. To manage brave workers, you need intelligence, skill and courage of your own. Promote smart courage, not stupid courage. Employees with smart courage will achieve their personal goals as well as your organization's goals. People with stupid courage can act like wild animals and inadvertently destroy what they're trying to build. Get ready to enter naysayer territory. When you and your employees exhibit courage, be prepared for trouble from higher up. You and your employees will almost certainly run into opposition. Naysayers will do their best to diminish you and your staff because anything that smacks of courage threatens those obedient to the status quo and their own power. But take heart, for the many naysayers who will automatically line up against you and your courageous staff members, you can count on one, and possibly more, yaysayer who will support you from the top. A moment of courage can have an enduring career impact. People draw strength from courageous acts, and just one can set the tone for the rest of your life. Employees will find that acting bravely can have a positive effect on their lives. There are risks and costs to a program of action. But they are far less than the long-range risks and costs of comfortable inaction. John F. Kennedy. The more courageous managers there are in the workplace, the more productive their companies will be. Whether you will be a courageous manager means making a distinct choice. If you decide to operate with courage, fully commit to that path. The journey won't be easy. You will always encounter pressure to stop living courageously. Never give in. Your courage will spread to the employees you led and boost their productivity. Inaction breeds doubt and fear. Action breeds confidence and courage. If you want to conquer fear, do not sit home and think about it. Go out and get busy. Dale Carnegie. Companies thrive when employees show courage. Newfound bravery helps employees connect to fresh energy and a can-do spirit. They come to love difficult challenges and to understand problems as opportunities. They trust and work well with each other. They speak directly and honestly, without holding back. They bask in a sense of positive momentum, and their new courage refuels their drive as they recommit to their jobs.